In this slideshow, we'll talk about the political and legal factors that companies face in doing international business. Political and legal systems vary across countries. They can be described on two dimensions: the extent to which they emphasize individualism as opposed to collectivism, which is low individualism, and the extent to which they are democratic as opposed to autocratic. Political and legal systems reflect the cultures in which they evolve. Let's recall the definition of individualism in our model culture. Individualism is the extent to which people expect to take care of themselves. In cultures with high individualism, people expect to take care of themselves. In cultures with low individualism, or collectivism, people expect to take care of others. Let's recall the definition of power distance in our modeled culture. Power distance is the extent to which people accept that power is distributed unequally. In a culture with low power distance, people expect to share power in the political process. In a culture with high power distance, people expect power to be concentrated at the top. In cultures with high individualism and low power distance, the freedoms of the individual take precedence over the needs of society. There is wide participation in decision-making. There are many constraints on the power of the government, and there is minimal intervention in the economy by the government. In cultures with low individualism, or collectivism, and high power distance, the needs of society take precedence over the needs of the individual. There are few constraints on the power of the government. Few citizens participate in decision-making, and there is a lot of government intervention in the economy. Some examples of government intervention in the economy are government ownership in major industries, regulations, a lot of regulations, price controls, trade barriers, and restrictions on investment. The measure of political freedom looks at the extent to which there are fair and competitive elections, individual and group freedoms are guaranteed, and there is freedom of the press. Political risk is a risk that political decisions, events, or conditions will affect the business environment in a negative way. Investors may lose some or all of the value of their investment, or they may be forced to accept a lower than projected rate of return. Political risk occurs because political decisions or events in a country may unexpectedly change the rules of the game. The legal systems of countries are embedded in their political systems and also reflect their cultures. Let's recall the definition of uncertainty avoidance. Uncertainty avoidance is the extent to which people feel threatened by uncertainty and try to avoid it. Cultures with high uncertainty avoidance have legal systems that are based on detailed written codes. There is no uncertainty about what is legal. Everything is covered by the legal code. This type of system is known as civil law. Cultures with low uncertainty avoidance have legal systems that are not based on written legal codes. Instead, they are based on tradition, precedent, custom, and usage. In our country, we have this type of legal system, which is known as common law. It requires many more lawyers to interpret the law than systems of civil law require. Some major legal issues in international business are product safety and liability, marketing practices, rules of origin, jurisdiction, and intellectual property rights. Intellectual property includes patents, trademarks, trade names, copyrights, and trade secrets. The extent to which people respect intellectual property rights depends on their culture. In collectivist cultures, people believe that all such rights belong in the public domain. Widespread piracy of these properties is increasingly expensive for registered owners. Now take the quiz on this slideshow by clicking on the Quiz on Slideshow icon, which is right below the icon you clicked on to view this slideshow.